You're watching Experience Comic Culture and Sales. Streaming live daily to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
2, 1.
What's up, the internet? It's producer Kyle. How's it going? You are here for what's supposed to be Talking Shop with Miss Jen, except that I am not Miss Jen. Because, as you may or may not know, the infrastructure in the state of Texas is so fragile, if the wind blows, she could lose power. And so I am here filling in. It's fine. I'm not at all prepared, but when has that ever stopped me before? No, it's cool though, because on today's Talking Shop, I get to talk to two homies. I get to talk to two of my favorite indie creators going right now. People that I'm constantly following, people who are constantly doing stuff. You know, sometimes we have people on the show and we talk to them and they're like, oh, well, I have this going right now. And then in 8 months, I'm going to do another thing. No. I sometimes think Mike is running Kickstarters every 7 days. He's starting something new every day. And so is Travis, who's our second guest, Travis Gibb. These dudes are on it. So I'm excited to talk to both of them about that. So I'm going to play the thing and then we're going to get right into it. This is Talking Shop. What's up, Matt? What's up, Cool Gamer? What's up, Agents of Geekdom, and everybody else who's watching? Say hi when you get here. I'm not going to talk too much longer. I'm just going to bring in the person held responsible for Freestyle Comics and the creative force behind Hot Shot, which I have 2 pages of hanging in the outer office here that I didn't think to take down to bring in. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in Mike Watson.
What's up, Kyle?
What's up, dude?
You're killing me backstage. I am dying of laughter.
Hey, it's true though. Like, I'm not wrong. You run crowdfunding the same way other people run like their prescriptions. Once a month, you got something cooking, right? Or pretty close to it, right?
I'd say close to it. What's up, Jay?
Before we get into everything else, tell us what your project is right now and how people can support it.
The project right now is the newest issue of Hot Shot number 12. It is at fskgo.com. You can go right over there. The Kickstarter is live. We have hit our goal, but we still got about 18 more days left on the campaign. So, we got some stretch goals that have already been announced and things like that. This is part 3 of the Unforgiven story arc, which is more of a conclusion because the next part is an epilogue. But we've added 6 pages to this one. So this is a bigger issue, 28 pages of some intense, traumatic violence.
Yeah. No, it's and that's the thing about Hot Shot, right? Like it's a superhero story, but it isn't like your underwear on the outside superhero stories. It's got some blood, it's got some violence, it's got some realness to it.
Yeah.
So tell, in case people don't know, because I know you're on with Chuck a few days ago, and you've been on with us before, but for anybody who's just turning in, tell everybody how you got into the biz of comics.
Well, I got into the business of comic books because I am a huge comic book fan, and I wanted to draw comic books all my life, ever since the 6th grade, and kind of plotted my whole course since the 6th grade on trying to be a comic book artist. I used to go to comic book events. Well, I still go to comic book conventions, but I used to go to comic book conventions with the whole goal and intention of trying to work for Marvel. And this is back when they were going to all the shows and had someone set up there. I would go stand in line and have an editor review my portfolio. I'd be in line like 5 or 6 hours to get a chance to have someone look at it. And they would look at it and give me some feedback. And I'd go back home, work on it, come back, repeat that process, or talk to a comic book artist from Marvel or DC, anybody I could find, and come look at my portfolio. And then finally, I got a swing at another Marvel editor. Marvel was set up, and they pulled me into the back room from the line and pulled me into the back room, looked at my stuff, and told me they remember me, that I've been coming back and forth, and I've been listening to the feedback, and my art was really good storytelling. I had all the bells and whistles, but this person in particular said that my style was not a style that they were particularly looking for at Marvel Comics, because it was a bit urban, and I did not know what that meant at the time, and I really wish I had the courage to stay in the room and ask, but I just wanted to run away. And my mom always told me that you can only bitch about something for 24 hours. And then, I was in my feelings. And after 24 hours, I got up and tried to figure out what I could do different, and started making my own book and said, I'll make Marvel and DC come to me. But
So was that the beginning of Hot Shot, or did you start with a different project? Because I know you've got a couple of stories and stuff that you do.
Oh yeah, no, that was the beginning of Hot Shot. Hot Shot is something that I've been working on since high school, but didn't realize it was Hot Shot because I used to just draw comics of me and my friends from high school. We were called Youth Force, and we protected our school from the rival school across the street from us. And as I got into college, I was by myself. I moved from Cleveland to Columbus to go to school, whole new city, never lived anywhere else, and I was by myself. So I kind of just really focused on my own character, which was me, because I've always wanted to be a superhero. And that's when I started actually developing like the costume and actual story of Hot Shot.
So one of the things that, and I think it's a testament to kind of the community you've built, that FSK is this way, is this a super inclusive, super broad group of people. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of talented folks working with FSK and working on books under the banner. I mean, from you to Fish to Tony Clapper to Vic has done stuff, Seth the Moose, all kinds of people, right?
Yeah.
So talk about that. How did that part of it come? You talk about being by yourself at college, but like now you've got a few years later, you've got this world built and you've got a ton of people in it.
Well, Victor Danch and I were comic book enemies. we were both the I was the comic book guy, and then Victor came in a year after me, and he was the new comic book guy. And everyone was like, "Oh my God, you guys would be so cool together." And I don't know, I saw him as a rival, so it was instant action. But we got around that nonsense, and it was just me being ridiculous and misreading things or whatnot. But then we started talking about comic books. We saw we had a ton of stuff in common, and we really did become good friends. And we started, we talked about the idea of comic books and what we wanted to do with comic books. And Victor asked me what I was doing, and I showed him Hot Shot, but like I didn't like leave his area. Like I was over his shoulder while he was looking at my sketchbook, because I was very, very I didn't let anybody take it or out of my sight. And and just us talking and conversating and working on stuff. And Victor ended up saying that, like, "Oh man, this is really great, but it sucks. Your writing sucks." And I was like, "Really?" And he was like, let me take this and let me rewrite this stuff for you in a way to help you become a better writer." And he literally came back a few weeks later with a whole binder that broke down how to write, climax, rising action, falling action, character development, voices, and things like that. And I, in following fashion, ignored all of that and just read the fact that he made a script for issues 1 through 5 of Hot Shot and said, "You should write the book." And he's like, no, I didn't write all this for me to be writing a book. I wrote this to show you how to be a better writer. I said, "No, you wrote this as your resume, man. Please, these are references, all the jazz. You're writing the book, and I'll draw it. That's perfect." And he came around. We started writing the books, and we threw a little bit of a rag team together. Our first copy of Hot Shot was she was she needed some work, but we got her done. You know what I'm saying? So eventually, a couple years later, we were able to come back and give her the love that she deserves on that first issue and remaster it. But just casually meeting people at CCAD, the Columbus College of Art and Design, meeting people at comic book conventions, and going to cons with them, being in groups with them here at Columbus, and then getting on social media. I was in the cusp of where social media was starting, where the internet and all that was really starting to cook. And that's where I met some cool people like Veronica Smith, who has been with us for a while. She's our lead colorist at FSK, and we met Veronica through a coloring contest that we hosted on social media, and she's just been with us since issue 7. She colors multiple books for us. Lori Foster, I met Lori, we knew of each other, but we really had no conversations. But then I really got to know Lori when I was the publisher of Short Fuse, and Sean Mack was out for a little bit. And Lori saw me, saw that I needed help, and she came in and helped me out. And we've been working together ever since then. And I've been doing internships with CCAD, so having interns come and work for FSK as well, which opened up the doors for us to have interns at the Art Academy in Cincinnati, which broadened our horizon and things like that, and getting out to more different further comic book conventions and meeting new people. So just getting around, and some people came and gone, people come and stayed, and we do meet a variety of people, but I feel like having there's a lot of people working with us kind of gives us the best ability to make the most broad range titles.
Absolutely. So you mentioned it, and it was something that was on my list to bring up. But the FSK crew does almost better than anybody that I know is social media. Between you and Fish and some of the other guys, the TikTok, and you're always live on TikTok, and you're always live a few different places, just doing your stuff, doing your art, making your books, making your projects. And then at the same time, I know you do other stuff other than that. He does other stuff other than that. What role has social media, and then the rapid development of these new platforms in the last couple of years with TikTok and Blue Sky and some of these other things, how has that changed the game?
Well, social media opened up for me during my time with Short Fuse Media. Sean had to open my eyes up to it and politely in a business sense let me know I have no social media. I have no social audience. And once I saw that, I knew I had to work on it. And so his question or challenge to me was how are you going to do that? What are you going to do your way to start building your social media audience? And I'm a talker, so I have earned the badge of I have no embarrassment card from college, and has just kind of carried over. And I just started going live on Facebook and introducing people to me and what I do and things like that, and kind of taking them on these little comic book adventures that I go through or whatnot. And I saw that's how I was getting engagement, and that's how people were, seeing that, I was out here making books. So I just continued to do that. TikTok is probably Facebook is probably the thing that my best social media, where I get the most engagement interaction. Instagram and Twitter, I have tried. I get a few little boosts from Instagram, but not nearly what I want. But you have to be present on all of them to some degree. You have to be present on all of them. But TikTok has really been the one that has really kicked it up 1,000%. Once I jumped on there, I grew on TikTok faster than I grew on any other social media. Taking note, there's more growth that I want from that. We're not where we want to be at, but the interaction engagement really shot up. And then I got access to TikTok Live, and that gave me another boost. And then being able to make quick reactions to other people's things. It sounds kind of dumb, but it was a simple way to continue a conversation besides posting an article and then putting comments on it. There's nothing like going back and forth with somebody in a video, back and forth, and actually having a video response to your comment. Because like if somebody made you respond back to the video, you really had something to say to them.
Right.
And it, it would get engagement up, and engagement is what we were really here for. And then I got access to the TikTok shop, and Fish does amazing at that. Danny J Quick blows it out of the water, taking a lot of notes from him, and and I just I just start talking on TikTok, showing the books and trying to get people inside line. What I really want to get across is that I'm genuine. Like, this is what I really love. This is what I really do. And I want you all to be a part of that. But social media is super, super, super important. And like I said, we have a website. Our website plays an important part because then we have a home base for people to go to where they can actually buy our stuff. And every so often, I get a text message that someone's bought something off TikTok, and I go home and I package it up. Or we're shipping stuff every Monday from our website, and then the Kickstarters. The Kickstarter is probably like our second best avenue, just because of people are always on Kickstarter looking for that next thing they want to get a hold of.
So the Unforgiven story arc in Hot Shot, which is what are we coming up to is this the end of the Unforgiven story arc?
Yes, there's one more part, but that's more of an epilogue. This is right in the beast of the climax.
So tell me, without spoiling, give me the elevator pitch on the Unforgiven saga, the Unforgiven storyline in Hot Shot.
So in Unforgiven, Hot Shot has to deal with his recent failures while trying to push past his childhood trauma to be the hero that he needs to be.
And I think it's important to kind of reference to people that, Hot Shot is more Spider-Man, I would say, than Superman. Like, he's got some imperfections in his superhero-ness.
Yes.
And you mentioned the trauma, and the trauma is really an interesting part of the character. I mean, you've been investigating that and messing around with that really since, I think my first issue of Hot Shot was like around issue 5.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to go back and try and find the first few. Mm-hmm. And I really do think I think I read them off of your table probably at a convention. Like, I'm just like, hey, I'm gonna borrow this, but so give people the pitch on Hot Shot, like who Hot Shot is as a character, and kind of this sort of the puzzle pieces that make the character up, and kind of explain how they kind of work together, because they do really work together well.
Well, Hot Shot's a young man in college trying to prove to his ex-girlfriend that he never cheated on her without revealing he's a superhero. And that's kind of where we pick up in the middle of his college life, sophomore, attending an art school and trying to win back his ex-girlfriend. But he's also kind of fresh on the superhero game. He's never really faced a super villain. He's faced some people with powers and things like that, but they've been bums. And anything that's kind of been out of his range, he's had help from with Vigilance. Vigilance is the world's strongest superhero. She works for the government full-time with no secret identity, but she has amnesia, and she's starting to believe the government is lying to her about who she really is. But she is a mentor to Hotshot in the superhero aspect, and Hotshot tries to teaches her to lighten up on a non-superhero basis. And Hotshot is in a situation where he knows where kind of like the foundation of his powers. He knows how to use those, but he doesn't know how to use all of his powers. And there's been moments where he subconsciously has done stuff that if he knew how to handle that, it would really increase his ability as a superhero. And that's kind of the journey he's on right now, trying to figure out how to get a control on his powers. And he's starting to ask where these powers even came from.
And just so the whole world knows, it's a long-running joke that his ex-girlfriend is the worst and he should just move on.
That is a joke, but then I always say she has her rights. She has her points for doing how she is.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that she's in any way wrong, but dude should just get on superhero Tinder or something and move on. But so the project is funded. So you're like, the other night I'm scrolling through social media and you're like, we're like $49 to our goal. And I'm like, oh, I need to back the product. I haven't backed it yet. Fell asleep with Kickstarter open and never got around to it. And then you funded. Well, which, happened in like a couple of hours that night. So with 18 days to go, fully funded, we're talking about stretch goals and other kind of bonuses. So what are we working towards? What are some things we could tell people they can be looking forward to as the project continues to fund and continues to gain momentum on Kickstarter?
Well, we have a few different things on there. We are doing. I'm unveiling the other 2 variant covers this week from Adam Fields and Will Wong Yi, and that will complete our cover set. So those will be viewed this week. Also, we are with our stretch goals. Hotshot 13 is already in process. Hotshot 14 is already in process right now. Our ultimate goal, because everybody wants to get as much money on a Kickstarter as possible. If we hit 10,000, we're going to give everybody Hotshot 13 digital and physical for free. That pledges to this. But to keep you busy till we get to that monumental dollar amounts, we have the Visions of Hotshot. Now we did this a couple Kickstarters ago, like on Hotshot the trade, but now we are including the original sketches and designs of Hotshot from my sketchbooks from high school and college. Those will be included in there as well, along with some new art from the likes of Daryl Banks, who has drawn Hotshot and things like that. We'll be sticking all that stuff in there, so it's going to be an even bigger digital file. We also have at 3,500, we have a Hotshot magnet. At 4,000, we have a Hotshot keychain, and at 4,500, we have 3 more metal bookmarks that we're adding to everybody who has a physical reward or whatnot. And once we hit that 4,500 mark, we'll unveil the rest of them, leading up to if we hit the 10,000 mark to get issue 13.
The cover of the art book might be my favorite piece of Hotshot art I've ever seen. It kind of feels like if Scotty Young was doing a take on the Hotshot story, like how it would be.
Absolutely, that's exactly what we're going for.
I dig it. So all of this is available at fskgo.com, which is in the comments, as well as just the straight.
Nope, lost you. Well, like I said, all this is available at fsgo.com. You guys can go check it out on the Kickstarter, grab any of that stuff, and I guess I will just keep it busy until he comes back. Another thing that we have available on the Kickstarter. Oh, there we go.
I click back on the stupid Kickstarter project and it boots me out of StreamYard. This is my problem, man. I can't shop and host at the same time. But yeah, finish what you were saying, Mike.
I was saying, another really cool thing that we have on here is that at Freestyle Comics, we have 42 comic books in total right now. And we are making our entire library available. That would normally be $420 for all 42 books, but we're doing it for $225 to get our entire physical library, and that will have free shipping on that one. So there's just a pledge just for that on there. And we have the Hotshot action figure. We've already sold about 6 of these on the Kickstarter right now. But it is fully articulated, 25 points of articulations, 7-inch, fully painted, and it comes in its own. We have the box and everything designed for it.
We're gonna need to have a whole other conversation about the process of designing an action figure, and about how do I get me a FSK hat. But beyond that, we've still got 18 days to go. We're at 2,800 or so, just shy of $2,800 on Kickstarter.
Mm-hmm.
Because by the time I fix the fact that I just screwed up my own backing, it'll go up a little bit. But what's next? So you got 13 already done, and that could be part of this project.
Yes.
So, like, are we starting work on 14? Are we taking a little break? What's?
Oh, there are no breaks. 14 is being worked on right now. So I'm bringing on a co-artist. So they will be drawing every other issue outside of me. We're trying to do 4 issues of Hotshot this year. 13 and 14 will be made at the same time. Then 15 is going to be the crossover with Ace Blade that we're doing. which will be part 1 of that crossover, and it will be continued in the Ace Blade book. Well, we haven't figured it out yet. Danny's writing it right now, and we don't know if he's going to start it and I'm going to finish it or vice versa. But both the stories are going to take place in our worlds, and they will matter to the stories that we are telling. They will have impact on those stories. It's not a one shot that's just a random adventure happening somewhere else. Next month, we'll be diving into Vigilance. We're doing the Vigilance Kickstarter for her first trade, collecting the first 4 issues. And we have a collector's edition of that trade that will feature Hotshot number 5 in there as well. So you get the full story of the Vigilance arc thus far. We will be diving into, after that, we're coming back around Hotshot to do his trade for volume 3, collecting 9, 10, 11, and 12 into that trade. After that, we will be moving on to that is March. We'll be moving on to, I think we'll take a month off, and then we'll be in for 5-star number 3. And then that's Free Comic Book Day. We'll be doing our first free comic book with a brand new character named Instinct that will premiere on Free Comic Book Day. And we'll have Cypher number 5 out by then as well with that.
See, when I said that when there's something every month, there's always something happening. There's always something happening. So last thing I want to mention, it just happened. I wasn't able to get there because I was out of town. I'm sorry I missed it, but FSK Con.
Mm-hmm.
This was the biggest one yet.
This was the biggest one yet. It was.
So give people a little bit of we only have a minute or so left, but give people a little bit of an insight on the whole. How do you throw a con just based around your own universe?
Well, FS Con is just something we were trying to do to get our city to know who we were. And we did it at a local comic shop. And anybody that was working on FSK stuff, if they had the ability to, they would come. The comic shop was very grateful. It was Comic Town. They let us have the run of the land. And we had plenty of table space, and everybody from each book had their own table. And we were just trying to promote the books. And we've been doing it now. This last year was the 6th year. But we needed to find a bigger space. So we started working with a school, Focus Academy. And they allowed us to come into their school and set up everything in there. And I would say within the last 2 years, we've opened the doors up to featuring other indie creatives. We want to help everyone be seen. We know a lot of dope people, and we want to highlight those people, and we want to work with those people on our panels and things like that as well. This last show that we just did with Focus, we had over 450 people show up for it. And I was very happy with the setup and the attendance, and we had a killer schedule for panels. Our panels were very, very good.
Yeah. No, I did the last one that was there at Comic Town. When I was at, which was super cool. And I'm sad to see Comic Town go, but happy for those guys to be able to kind of move on to the next chapter in their lives and be happy with that. Where can folks follow you, Mike? Where can they get to see you smiling and being live on things and selling your books and making your art?
Oh, if anybody wanted to give me a follow, it is at Most Epic Art on all social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, all that good jazz. But the place to kick it the most will be fskgo.com for this month.
Absolutely. So everybody head over to fskgo.com. It redirects right to the Kickstarter for Hotshot number 12. And I've, again, links in the comments. Always important to support independent creators who are doing good work and who are doing, who are out here doing the thing. And I tell you this much, Mike, when you see Mike doing this stuff, giant smile, always super happy, always super into it. Like it jazzes you up. It gets you going to go make your own thing and go do your own thing, hanging around these guys. So make sure you support them as much as you can, as often as you can, even if it's just hitting share or following or, that kind of stuff, just sharing the word out about the work. That's always super important too. So I want to thank Mike for being here. Always great to talk to you, buddy. Like, hopefully we can do this like in person without 180 miles of internet between us and, that kind of thing relatively soon. In fact, I'm going to be in town next month. We'll have to talk. Anyway,
Absolutely.
so we absolutely always good to see Mike. We will be back in just a few minutes with another creator, very much in the same vein as Freestyle Comics, Orange Cone Productions, Travis Gibb.
Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. So I love talking to guys who are making their own art and making their own things. So we will see everybody in just a minute here on Talking Shop. Once again, thank you to Mike Watson. Follow at Most Epic Art everywhere you go, fskgo.com, all of that kind of stuff. And we will see you next time, Mike. Thanks for being here, buddy.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
Live from New York. What? Oh, sorry. Live from Cleveland? It's Friday night? It's Friday Night Live! With Nancy McCann. And Ricky. And sometimes Carlos. And featuring boxes and boxes of rare comics. Unique collectibles. Lots of smiles and conversations with new friends. Friday Night Live with Comics Unlimited. Friday night from 9 to 11 on The Experience. There's something for every imagination at your local comic shop. Visit comicshoplocator.com to find a store near you.
Did you know that every Experience show, including some exclusive content, streams on Twitch? Check it out, twitch.tv/the_EXP. Or just scan that QR code. According to a statistic that I just made up, people spend 4 hours a day changing the television channel. People who watch The Experience don't do that. Save yourself a ton of time by tuning into The Experience and enjoying our new original programming 7 days a week. And then tell your friends. Think about the money they could save on batteries in the remote alone just by tuning into The Experience. Find out more by scanning the QR code below.
What's up, the internet? Welcome back. This is Talking Shop. I am producer Kyle. Miss Jen is currently living the movie Twister, it looks like, from the pictures she's posting. So everybody, thoughts, prayers, good vibes for the Houston area. Even Jay lost power 10 seconds into the show. So I'm doing it all myself, including trying to back these wonderful projects from these great creators because I'm a schmuck and haven't done it yet while live on the air. So the theme of today's show is people who are out here doing it. We started with Mike Watson from Freestyle Comics, and we're heading into the person who since I became aware of them, has been doing it nonstop and is constantly bringing other people up and bringing other people along. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in Travis Gibb.
Hey, whoa, it's super dark. I didn't realize how dark it was on this. Hold on.
Here, don't worry about it. I'll just match.
Wait, hold on. We'll get it. All right, look, we have light. Look.
I'm good with it, man. Like, I'm good with the dark. I'm good with the light, whatever.
I can put a
reflects
Magneto
off the
helmet on
anyway.
if it makes it better. I got a Magneto helmet for Christmas. I'll just put it on. I don't know if that'll help get views. I'm all about the views.
Well, you put on your Magneto helmet. I'll put my hat down and change my light angle. So
All right,
I'm a witness protection.
We got it. All right. Ready.
There.
Okay.
So now it's like I'm a witness protection.
All right,
Also, I just
it.
broke my light. Anyway. So first of all, we ran the dope ad for Holiday Spirits right before we came back from break.
Yeah.
Which it's a super cool ad, but I've got to ask a question. From whose brain did that terrifying Santa Claus picture come? Where his eyes just hanging out?
That was J.M. Brandt. It's part of his story in there. You guys may know him better from Swamp Dogs from Scout. But yeah, he's the one who came up with that and put that all together. It's been a wild book. So what happened to Jen? There's a twister, like a little twister, or just moving?
Yeah, there's tornadoes in Texas.
Okay. Well, she's moving too, so I didn't know if it was a joke or like.
No, she's sending me pictures out the front window of the new store. Her old store, smaller windows. New store, all windows.
Right.
So tornado, extra dangerous.
Right.
So no, there's definitely like Jay's power's out and his backup generator to come in. So like, it's been a day for them.
It's been a day.
I'm unprepared. Like, I didn't even get to read much of the Kickstarter before we went on the air here. So I'm kind of just asking questions based on my own interests, which is fine because
that's a better way to do it. You got a good backdrop, a new backdrop too. A lot of original art back there, which is great.
It's so original art. This guy, somebody you might have heard of, Gavin Smith, who just had a run on Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
John Marroquin and not Eric Sanchez, Chris Sanchez from Rocketing Studios.
Nice.
Jughead, obviously.
Okay, sure.
Tom Richmond from Mad Magazine did both of these.
Nice.
Seth the Moose, and then I have unpublished 2000 AD over here.
Nice. I love it.
But
I love the new studio look.
The wait, which one?
The new studio look, because this is not. That's all you, right?
You should see the museum. I've got original art on every wall in this office space.
We have original art coming to Orlando. It's like the special event.
Yeah, the Original Art Expo or whatever.
Yeah, it's coming next month. It's $120 a ticket. I'm like, $100 just for me to buy things that it costs more than $120. That's ridiculous. That's crazy.
It's true, but I tell you what, some of that's the coolest stuff.
Yeah,
you can see. But no, the outer office is all indie creators. So out there is my Mike Watsons, I got Mike Watson, I've got more Seth the Moose, Scott McMahon, guys who are doing Kickstarters.
Nice.
So that's what I'm fascinated about is you have 4 days to go on Holiday Spirits.
Right.
We're coming down to the wire and we're not quite there yet.
Yeah.
So how has this project been different from other projects? How has this project been better or worse? What are some things that you've noticed with this particular project that has been of interest to you?
Yeah, well, so we get it out a little bit late, so that's probably why it's not quite there yet. It'll get there. We believe it'll be there. I'm not even remotely stressed about it, which is crazy because normally I'd be losing my mind. I'm not remotely stressed about it because I know we have a fan base. I've seen the analytics of the back end of all the people who are going to get a notification in a day or so when it's down to the last little wire. But we're running it a little late. Normally we get it out. We try to get it shipped, before for the holidays. So. But we did Holiday Spirits in the direct market this year. So this one just came out on the 20th of December. And then we did number 2 last year. So we've got all that stuff going. So I just think we're at it a little late, but we've raised more than last time and we've got more backers than last time. So even though like it seems like it's behind, it's really ahead of where number 2 was.
Have you found that the anthology concept has proven more or less effective than it has in the past?
Yeah, anthologies on Kickstarter aren't doing as well. We're again, even though we haven't funded yet, we're still doing much better than a lot of the newer anthologies. A lot of newer anthologies are a little over half going into the last week, and then really they're only funded whether or not the community really steps up. That's been pretty common. So unless you have like a reputation of doing anthologies like us for this or Cthulhu Invades or like a Nightmare Theater, they tend to be struggling. I think I think the barrier of entry into comics right now with Kickstarter is a lot easier than it's ever been. So anthologies are kind of losing their luster. Back in the day, you went to an anthology because that's the only chance you could get published. Well, now it's pretty easy. A lot of people, they'll do 5 pages up, put up a Kickstarter, and they'll do their own thing. So, yes, it was an awesome, awesome, awesome helmet.
Mm-hmm. And the BG's rule.
But yeah, it's so interesting that you guys had Michael Watson on before. I don't know, did he mention it that I am the writer of issue 14?
He didn't, because he was being a little cagey with me. only because he knows that I know stuff, but we don't know what he didn't know what I'm going to ask him.
Okay.
It's this. I know Mike and I have known each other a lot of years. Like I've done his convention.
Right.
Like we're only 180 miles apart, in terms of distance. So it's always fun when I talk to Mike because I want to be like, so hey, you know that burger joint? Is that still there? Almost forget to talk about comics because, it's just a foregone conclusion that we're going to support each other's comics. So
sure. Yeah.
So you wrote issue 14 of, which by the way, he mentioned like May or June for the Kickstarter on that.
I'll probably be spoiling things here, but I didn't sign an NDA, so whatever. The goal is when they do the trade is hopefully that's the stretch goal is issue 13, like he does all the time. Like right now, if we do 12, 13 is the stretch
right.
goal. So
that
tends to be what he does. So when he does the trade, I'll be the stretch goal of that. So it'll probably be out March because he's not drawing that one. This is the first one with the new artist.
Right. No, it's true. So let me ask you this, because this is a question that I kind of asked Mike in his way, and I'm going to ask you. You're always doing stuff.
Yeah.
Like if you don't have a Kickstarter, you're doing conventions. If you don't have conventions, you're hosting, big creator roundtables on social media live. Right. You're always doing stuff. So when do you have time to do any creative work?
That has been my struggle. I'm really behind on scripts, Kyle. Thanks for mentioning that out. In fact, I've got, just an example, today I have 3 shows. I have your show, and then I have a show at 7:30. I have a show at 9:30. All crazy stuff. So I have a day job, but I own my own business, so I can make my own hours, which is very flexible. My wife is also the best woman in the world. She gives me as much time as I need. So this weekend I did a lot of comic work and she did some editing work, but we just kind of did it. And we just knew that, hey, this weekend wasn't a going out weekend. We were kind of working, so we just find the time the best we could. Cause this is all I want to do. This is all I think about when I wake up. Often when I go on trips, I'm like, hey, let's talk to I need to talk to my wife about non-comic stuff. And it'll be like 20 minutes. And then I'm back into comics. I'm like, damn it. There's got to be something going on in this world that we can talk about.
Well,
if I'm writing comics for Orange Cone, I'm to the point where people are hiring me, like Mike Watson for Hot Shot, and for other people, they want me to write their comics too. So it's a lot, man. It's a lot, but I love it. I wouldn't train it for the world.
I think we're gonna have to get to the point where you've got a chain and a cinder block, and it's next to your desk, kind of like they do for Cullen Bunn.
Right. Who's in this Kickstarter, by the way, because he works for everybody. But yeah, absolutely. In fact, I mentioned that to my wife. We were on a trip, and I was like, before I say this, I want you to know I'm not saying this, but I get why writers sometimes go on writing retreats. Like they'll go to a hotel for a weekend. Neil Gaiman wrote American Gods right here in Florida, with where I live, right down the road. I get it now. I didn't get it because I was just like, just write. Like, what do you need? Like, sometimes you just need all the distractions to go away, because all it takes is one little thing, and it'll be an hour back to my desk before I can get back to my desk to do stuff. One little rabbit hole,
Oh, absolutely. I go on editing retreats. I'll check myself into a hotel even 15 minutes from my house,
right?
Just so that I set my computer up on the desk and I sit and I edit.
Yep.
And like, sometimes it's the only way to get work done.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it.
But so with the pace you've kind of set for yourself, and the growth of Orange Cone Productions, like, because it's getting bigger. It's you're growing, you're doing more and more and more stuff. How do you forecast that? How do you plan for that? Do you just kind of take stuff as it comes, or do you have sort of a 2, 3, 4 year plan?
So I don't plan too far out. I plan about 1.5 years to 2 years out. Now, don't die on me, good sir. Don't die.
I'm good.
So I plan about 1.5 years out, 2 years out. And only because, my goal, and I've been very upfront about this, I really one day want to work for Marvel and DC. So I always want to make sure I'll have a book, so I can't be so I have to turn that down because I'm busy. Not that I wouldn't make the time, but I plan a couple years out. We have books that we want to make, stuff, and just finding in the schedule. One of the cool things that we do, my wife and I, is when we sit down and look at the schedule, we kind of just produce as much things as we can. So we try to have 3 or 4 things in production. Basically the max that we can afford at the time. So 1 or 2 anthologies, and then 1 or 2 personal projects. And we try to get them, so we're always getting stuff in. And then when something's done, that's the next thing that's coming to Kickstarter or whatever, which really helps us. Like, I have 2 books, Kyle: Tales from the Canyon City, which is a broke down in 4 Dead Bodies anthology, but it's all of that stuff, and Voodoo Nations, that have been practically done for about 6 months. I just haven't had room in the schedule to launch it.
Right. And I imagine that's a great problem to have.
It's good and it's bad. It's frustrating, because you always want that content. I don't want anything sitting in a folder. I want readers to be reading, right? But it is also really good to know that I'm not waiting for art. I know that, the Kickstarter, when it's launched, when I get the money, I can go quickly to print and make sure my customer service stays high. Because that's what drowns people in this industry, is they do so much stuff and they get Kickstarter, but nothing's finished. So when all that gets finished, they get behind, and that's what causes problems. So we try to make sure that we don't have that problem here at Orange Cone.
Yeah, no. So when you do have a project like that you haven't had a chance to launch through crowdfunding or whatever, is there a temptation to go back and tweak it? Go back and mess with it?
Oh yeah. We constantly mess with it. In fact, it's funny you said that. I looked at the files yesterday and I was just like, you know what? I don't like this shirt color. Like, we got to change. It was something small, but I was just like, I don't like this shirt color, because we're going to play with it, even though that wouldn't be till print. But yeah, we tweak it. My letter is really good, because when he first started working with me, he was like, hey, can we make sure everything is like perfect before we go? And I was like, I can't work that way, man. I got to tweak it all the way through. Like, if it costs me more, it costs me more. Like, we've got to do it. And my wife is also, she's our editor, so she makes it perfect. So she's always trying to get the best aspect or the best part of it that we can to make it work. So we're always tweaking all the way up to print a lot of times.
So this project's over in 4 days.
Yep.
And then obviously once it funds, God willing, fulfillment, things like that will have to happen.
Mm-hmm.
When is the next thing? Like,
so the next thing, Voodoo Nations, I've just made the Kickstarter, so I'm going to launch that end of January, beginning of February. I'm going to launch it as quickly as I can to get that out. I mean, people have waited a year for the last issue, which sucks, you know. As a creator, I don't want people waiting that long for my stuff, you know. I know a lot of people in the indie scene and the Kickstarter scene do a book a year, but I you know, them being over a year is just too much. So I need to get that out. I know people are wanting it, so I need to get that out. It's one of our better producing series, so I got to get that out. And then I literally have a schedule that has only 1 month free right now on the calendar of Kickstarters.
I love it.
Books with stuff. So I've only got 1 month free. You know, but again, one of the things is we try to do is, even though that calendar is really busy, I don't go until there's only one artist that I will go without it being done. You know, and that's the guy who does Great Escape Punk, because he's really fast, he's really efficient. I can trust him to do so. But beyond that, they're all close to done when we launch, which makes it really easy to get that next thing, get it fulfilled. I'm no Pat Sheehan, right? I didn't do 16 campaigns last night, make $1 million and fulfill 14. Like, I'm not that good, but I'm working on it.
Well, we all know Pat will fulfill the other two at some point.
Oh yeah. I'm sure that those two that he didn't fulfill was just because they were scheduled to fulfill in January and February. That's not
right.
It's not
Yeah. Right. No, it's Pat's not dropping the ball. We're not throwing any shade at Pat.
Yeah, no. It's definitely not a drop the ball. Nobody can do that. Nobody can do like
no.
Ian is one of the only people who can do that. I can't do that. I can't pull that. It's amazing.
Nobody can. So you know, we need to get this book across the finish line. But if it does, are there stretch goals and things that people could look forward to? You know, if somebody comes in and drops some huge dollars here in getting this thing over the finish line.
Yeah, we're gonna get you know, the first stretch goal. We'll have some obviously we need bookmarks, so we'll get some bookmarks out there. We'll start that. We'll do some creator commentary. People love that. We get all the creators of this to talk about it, to get everything it needs to go. We'll announce if we do a fourth one, because there is a fourth one on the wing, Kyle, and it is a completely reformatting. One of the things we're doing this year is you're familiar with our Cthulhu Invades and our Holiday Spirits. Next year, because they're on their fourth volumes, they're getting a little stale, right? So we got to shake it up. So we're doing it different. So Holiday Spirits, if we get to 4, if we get this funded and get the next one, we're going to do a complete monsters. So Frankenstein, Dracula, Mummy. So that'll be them celebrating the holiday. So it won't be a traditional anthology. It'll be these guys celebrating a holiday, which I think is really cool. And then for Cthulhu, you know, Invades, what we're doing is we're going to do it more Aesop's Fables, more Grimm fairy tales. So it's Cthulhu Invades fairy tales, but it's going to be written like more of a traditional traditional anthology, but just as fairy tales. So it's kind of cool instead of one connected universe. So we're changing things up all the time.
And I'm gonna throw this out there. I put it on Facebook. I'm gonna put it out in the ether on YouTube and every place else. Dave Franchini, if you're listening.
All right, just message me, man.
Let Travis fix the fish people problem you're having over there at the Zenoscope, please. We all know you have a fish people problem. Let Travis fix it. Okay.
Right. I mean, they keep doing Cthulhu stuff. I've sent them. I was like, come on, man. I've seen them be doing pretty good.
Absolutely. So, where can people follow you? Where can they get updates? Where can they support Orange Cone and Travis Gibb?
All right. So you can go to orangeconeproductions.com if you want to check out any of the books. If you want to back any of the books and do stuff, that is where you do that. If you want to know what's going on, what's the newest thing, it's our Substack. So it's travisgibb.substack.com. That's where you get the most up-to-date information. I do a post, about a post a week, sometimes two, to let people know what's going on and where I can get you and how I can help you.
Awesome. Now, link for the Kickstarter is in the comments. Just click on it, head over there and back. I'm looking at the small retail package because that's about where I need to be on this particular project. And so where can people see you? You do conventions. Where can people see you? Where can people meet you? Do you have
Yeah,
any
the next one that I have currently is MegaCon. So that's in February, beginning of February. And then I'm going to Baltimore. I haven't scheduled my convention circuit yet this year, which is crazy. I really need to get on that. That's one of the things that, again, I do all these projects. It falls by the wayside. So I need to get some. I do most of the bigger shows in Florida, but I need to hit a couple of the northern ones because you guys like me over there. I do great New Hampshire and New England. I'm going to try to be at
Granite State. You're going to do well.
I do well in Granite State, oddly enough. Isn't that weird? So, but yeah. Oh, the one thing I wanted to tell people about Holiday Spirits 3 too is they've got bigger every time. So this is a little under 100 pages. This was 126. This is close to 200. So I mean, we're growing every time, and we've never increased the price.
Right. So for $30, you're getting a 200-page trade.
Right.
You're doing all right, guys. So, unfortunately, we are out of time.
Oh no!
I know. I could talk to Travis. I could talk to Mike. I could talk to these guys for literally days on end. Which, ironically, announcement coming soon about an opportunity to talk to them for literally days on end. Anyway, that was me being cryptic about a thing that I'm not ready to announce for the experience yet. But so everybody head over to the Kickstarter. The link is in the comments, or Orange Cone Productions. You just search it up on the internet and you find it. It'll take you where you need to go. Travis, thank you so much, man, for always being down and for being willing and for advertising on the experience. You'll see the ad on all of our shows, everybody.
And you can predict anytime I do a video, it'll be on the experience. I don't do it for all my campaigns, but anytime we do, it'll be on the experience.
All right, guys. We will see you next time. Stay tuned for Comic Collectibles with Rex and John. And I will be back in a little bit for Devil's Advocates, where we're talking about craziness. So we will see everybody next time. Thanks so much, Travis.
Bye.
Join the party. Head over to our link tree to find all